Got the puck away from him. That's legitimate. But he held him on the ice at the blue line while the Philadelphia play was developing.
Here comes Ryan Walter backhanding it in with the clock showing 52 seconds remaining on the penalty to the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia leading 1-0 as they clear once again, and Rick Green will drift back to receive as he'll be forechecked back in his own zone by Bob Barber, who goes off and peels off as he goes right through the crease area. Caps again starting to move out of their own zone. Left wing passes onto the stick of Rolf Adebear, fresh from the bench. Adebear stick handles into the attack zone. Robert Picard tries to break in as it goes off behind the net. Picard trying to pick up the puck as Adebear is trying to somehow feed it to him. Wrapped up by a couple of Philadelphia Flyers. Picard throws the shoulder in. He merges with the puck, feeds it out in front, and Ryan Walter is there feeding it to the left point. There's a fake by Gustafsson. He feeds instead to Ryan Walter. Back to Gustafsson at the left point, into the near side where Green has it, takes a shot. It is blocked by Barber. 4 seconds remaining on the penalty as Barber carries it out to Bridgman, tosses it in. A 2-on-1 very nearly developed against the Caps there, but the errant pass precluded that, and now we have teams at equal strength on the ice as the Flyers have killed the penalty, maintaining a 1-0 lead. Ryan Walter in. Throws a head fake on, but does not get around Ben Wilson as it's off behind the net. And picking it up is Holmgren on the far side. It is he who owns the goal in this 1-0 Philadelphia lead. Philly shooting it into Capital Zone once more. 9:05 remaining, first period at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. Ryan Walter trying to get a pass away. Hemmed in against the far boards by the persistent and pesky Ken Linsman. Shot back into Philadelphia's zone. And along the near side, the Flyers starting out as it's sent out of there along the left wing. And taken back by Jarvis as he battles with Brian Propp. But Propp ties him up while Linsman races in. He can really fly. It is apt that he plays for the Flyers. A shot right on is stopped and held to the ice in the crease area. And boy, Hangsleben helped his goaltender that time, because after Stevenson made the stop, he appears to have been injured.
Yes, indeed. He took a heck of a shot by the Flyer coming in down the center ice man. As you notice, Gump Worsley. Gump Worsley. That's the Flyer.
Maybe it's one of the Flyers who may have been hurt.
Right. Not Gump Embro, but one of the Flyer people hurt. Now let's watch this. Here comes the pass across the ice, from the circle, right across the ice by Linsman, who flew down the left wing. Now you're going to watch this as Stevenson is shot down inadvertently by the Flyer coming in, and he hit the pipe.
It was Holmgren.
It was a Paul Holmgren who came in on the right side, and apparently his right hip is okay too. All right, we'll be back with the Flyers leading 1-0 after this. Stevenson in the Caps nets.
It's Jarvis against McLeish. McLeish tries to go to the goal on the face-off, and it's picked up in the corner as Al Hill is spun around. This is a line that we haven't seen this evening, with McLeish centering Al Hill and John Paddock. And Hill goes in with a backhander and scores.
Oh, what a beautiful goal by young Mr. Hill. Al Hill, all by himself, coming out of the corner after taking a pass in the corner, right across the circle, and makes the score 2-0 Flyers. Watch this. He digs it out from Wes Jarvis, comes across the circle, dekes past the defense. Now with a semi-screen in front of him, a backhander that Stevenson just barely sees. Stevenson actually had made his move and gone down on the ice in the front of the crease, and the puck just bounced right over the stick into the net, and Al Hill has made the score 2-0.
Is 16th of the season, unassisted at 11:34.
So Philadelphia has the 2-0 lead as Moose DuPont goes back to get the puck. Forechecked as he goes by Alan Hangsleben, banking it against the near boards where Robert Picard breaks it up for the Washington Capitals. Philly has outshot the Capitals 9-4. They lead them 2-0 as the feed is into the slot, but broken up once again by the Philadelphia Flyers as it's taken out of there by Barnes. Barnes passes to center. Green steals for Washington. Rink wide, right wing pass onto the stick of Bob Sirois. Sirois going in, taken into the boards by Moose DuPont. Sirois goes after it again as he and DuPont collide. DuPont getting the handle on it, looks for Hill against the near boards, but underleads him, and as it's down behind the Washington goal and is covered by Green, icing is called. Robert Picard, for some reason, fell down. There was nobody around him there, no harm done. I think he just got turned around and may have hit a bad spot on the ice, I'm not sure, but it was inconsequential insofar as the play was concerned because the whistle was blowing at the time.
There's Bobby. He looks okay. Actually, it looks like the ice might be just a little bit soft in that right wing circle to the left of us, Jim. The Flyers' right wing circle. Bobby skidding it around now, trying to shake it off. And the face-off, of course, on the icing comes down to the other end of the ice now, to the left of goaltender Phil Meir in the pipes for the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Capitals trailing with 7:42 left in the first period, 2-0.
Some defensive lapses in the Capital zone have led to both of the goals. Stevenson had very little opportunity to make a save on either one of those goals. Number 29 for Philadelphia's Jack McElhargy behind the net. McElhargy trying a feed and gets it through with some difficulty to Bridgman, whose pass is In, and here come the Flyers again. Another save, this time off the chest on a quick wrist shot by Kelly.
The key play on there was the covering of Reggie Leach by Rick Green, because he had the shot, the close-in shot, and then, of course, Bob Kelly trailing the play. Nice play by Rick Green. Now watch Bob Kelly pick it up. But there's enough time for Stevenson to get set, cut down the angle, come out to the beginning of the crease, and he makes the save.
That was a hot potato. He juggled that for a while after making the stop off the chest.
But
7:26 left in the period.
You got to know, Jim, that again, it was a Capital defensive lapse that set the play up in the first place. The Capitals caught up ice now for the second time in a row in the last 5 minutes.
And this has been a problem throughout the period, which has seen Philadelphia take a 2-0 lead and lead in shots on goal 10-4. Premature movement into that face-off circle. They'll reface as John D'Amico, the linesman, will drop the puck. D'Amico being one of the linesmen tonight, Joe Dame the other. Wally Harris is the referee.
With 5 minutes left in the first period at Detroit, Mahovlich has just added to the Red Wings lead, and they lead Quebec by a score of 5-1.
So the way things are going, Detroit could tie Washington for the 16th spot with a victory tonight should Washington lose this one. Gartner has the puck. He's waiting for Mulvey to come back on side. Gartner feeding against the near side, looking for Ryan Walter as he races in. Throwing the shoulder into him is Bridgman. Bridgman, a very tough customer. Against the near boards, Robert Picard is wrapped up by Kelly, and the puck is retrieved along the boards by Gartner, who weaves his way out, throwing a right wing pass to Walter. Walter drops it back behind the blue line, and the Caps will have to get back on side in order to mount a thrust once again. And the thrust is not forthcoming because McElhargy takes it away. And despite the forechecking of Ryan Walter, McElhargy keeps the puck until he's wrestled to the ice, and they freeze it. So Walter was able to force a face-off in Philadelphia's zone.
Ryan Walter is noted for hitting the corners very, very hard for the Washington Capitals. Jack McElhargy, of course, knows that. And that was a sweet little swoon he just took into the corner there, trying to force a penalty on the Capitals. Of course, Wally Harris was right there. No penalty called, just a good play by Ryan Walter to force the face-off, and this is what you got to do when you're playing forechecking hockey, force the face-off in the Philadelphia end.
Gary Green, the 26-year-old coach of the Capitals, sends on new troops, and this is a line that has not been on in this particular form tonight, as he has Antero Lehtinen making his first shift on the ice. Antero Lehtinen from Finland is the left winger. Dennis Maruk is the center. Sirois is the right winger on the line. McKinnon and Bouchard are back on defense, as against the far boards. Maruk picks it up. He centers, but nobody home at the point as it goes beyond the man deep in the slot, Sirois, and between the point men. McKinnon feeds, and it's deflected in by Maruk, who tries to weave his way past two Philadelphia Flyers. Gets by one, but the other, Jimmy Watson, neutralizes him in the corner, as coming back to help out Watson is Al Hill, owner of one of the two Philadelphia goals. Philadelphia on the move as they bring it out. It's a 3-on-3 as they move in, and Leach's pass is in, and he throws it into the corner. Sirois is there with Barber draped over him. A couple more join the fray. They freeze it with 6:04 left in the period, and it is still Philadelphia leading by 2-0 over the Washington Caps. We'll be back in a moment.
The grim visage of Pierre Bouchard on the Washington defense. A handsome young man, old in terms of hockey.
We're seeing Tom Gorance on for the first time, playing right wing on this line for the Philadelphia Flyers, as Hill is on left wing, a line centered by Barber, and they freeze it once again. Barber is nominally a left winger, but he's playing center on this line, facing off against Ralph Edberg.
With the captain, of course, of the Philadelphia Flyers, in case you haven't noticed or just joined us, Clarkey is not playing. Bobby Clark is not playing tonight, so Barber's filling in on that line.
Against the far boards to the left of the Washington goal, again the puck is frozen with 5:51 left in the period. The Caps unable to get anything going in this game. They've been back on their heels through much of the contest, and it has been defensive lapses that have accounted for the two Philadelphia goals and a couple more near misses.
Maybe in the second period they'll come out with a little bit of a different strategy. This whole first period, when you stop and think about it, with 5:51 left, there's gone less than 15 minutes, and it's really been a slow-moving hockey game because both clubs have been playing with 5 guys on the blue line. When you do that, you make mistakes, and the other team capitalizes on it. So far, Philadelphia has done it twice.
Well, when you get to the playoffs or toward the playoffs, sometimes it does tighten up and take on that aspect, and Here comes the Washington move as Aidbear is pushed off the puck, but somehow regains it and centers to Hangsleben as he tries to throw it in the slot to Gustafson. Nothing doing. The Flyers break it up. That was sent out of there by Philadelphia's Brian Propp. And against the far boards, it's shot back in by the Washington Caps. A couple guys crumble in the corner and come back up. None the worse for wear, and the Capitals are now going to have to go back to their own zone. The race is on as Linsman moves in past Pierre Bouchard. Back to center, Hangsleben takes over. Lead pass, Aidbear's in. Aidbear shoots, save, picked up by Mir. And Aidbear is knocked down as he tries to go into a follow-up. And back in the corner, DuPont and Gustafson on a collision course. Gustafson digs it away from the Moose. As he centers it, it's fallen upon and clamped to the ice by Mir.
Phil Mir did the right thing that time. A little bit of loose play out there, especially on the part of the other defenseman working along with Moose DuPont, who's really been a star on this shift for the Flyers. Mir just fell on it. Here's the pass out. It's going to be blocked now by Linsman, but it's picked up by Hangsleben. And the puck drifts off his stick into the pads, the big mid, I should say, of goaltender Phil Mir. To our right in the Philadelphia end. Nice play by the Capitals on offense, a little sloppy play by the Flyers on defense. This is what cost the Capitals earlier. Well, now, of course, the Capital fans are looking for it to cost the Flyers.
Ryan Walter facing off against Rick McLeish for this face-off, which is controlled by nobody as yet. The Flyers take it away, and it's lifted out to center ice and beyond by Ben Wilson as it skips back into Capital zone. Rick Green goes back to retrieve under the watchful eye of goaltender Stevenson, who backs into the net to make sure that nothing goes in there if it's checked away, as it very nearly was there. Back in Philadelphia zone. Once more, Wilson feeds it on the left side, and McElhargy launches it in and on goal. And the Philadelphia Flyers will backtrack once again as Flyers find the Caps in control at neutral ice. The pass is off the skate of Ryan Walter. He recovers it, however. Back passes, but the bouncing back pass is beyond the reach of Green, who's got to go back to retrieve. 10-5 of the shots, Philadelphia leading. On the scoreboard, they lead 2-0. Here is Paul Mulvey moving in as he tries in vain to get around Ben Wilson, who takes it right off his stick. Back to center. And the Caps take over once again as it's lofted ahead. And there it's grabbed by McElhargy. He loses to Gartner. Gartner moves in on his off wing, throws it across to Ryan Walter. Walter spinning around on the near side, needs help at the point, but it's beyond the point, and it's back over in the right wing. And here comes Philadelphia on the move once again as John Paddock drives one that trickles to the goal and is kicked out. McLeish picks it up, hits the side of the net with his shot from a deep angle, and it is picked up by the Capitals as Gartner once again comes out on his off wing. He will be able to get off to the bench on a line change as he lobs it in. 3:35 left in the first period. Philly leading by a 2-0 score as Reggie Leach shoots it in. First man back is number 19, McKinnon. There's a shot on goal from outside as Watson from the point along the near side was able to get right on target with that shot. Here come the Capitals again, and the pass is off the stick of Sirois at center ice. Sirois having come to the Capitals from the Philadelphia organization in the trade that brought Paddock to Philadelphia. Here is Philadelphia on the move once again as Bridgman pokes it lazily ahead on the far side. Marouk, fresh from the bench, picks it up. And here on the right wing board, Sirois is trying to get it out of there, but it's taken away by Reggie Leach. And Leach gives ground all the way to his own line to maintain control for Philadelphia, sending it straight up the middle now to Barber. His right wing pass intended for Bridgman, broken up by Pat Ribble. And it's taken back by Barber, and Garber is stopped on that shot. There's a spin around shot by Bridgman, well wide of the mark as Sirois picks it up, dumps it to center. 2-on-1 possibility if they can hurry, but Leach gets back to cover, and it actually turns out to be a 2-on-3 as Philadelphia will now have a man in the penalty box on this call.
It drew a penalty indeed, as Antero Letnin, noted for the beautiful wrist shot that he has, as he comes in down the right wing side. He's going to fire, but he's hooked down by young Mike Bosniak on the Philadelphia defense, and that at least gives the Capitals with 2:31 left in it a third opportunity on the power play.
Bosniak.
And let's see what they can do this time, trailing by a score of 2-0.
A tripping call to Bosniak then at the 17:29 mark gives the Capitals their third power play opportunity of the game. They have not been effective at all on the power play, and total they've had only 6 shots on goal to 12 for Philadelphia. But if the Caps are going to get on the scoreboard before this first period comes to an end, this would be the opportune time.
The face-off will be to the left of the Philadelphia goaltender Phil Mir. Ryan Walter on the ice with Gustafson on the right wing, and that's Aidbear on the left wing. Again, Mike Gartner on the right point, 4 forwards, and Robert Picard, he of the famous point shot from the left side Let's see how that power play works this time.
Norm Barnes emerges with the puck, and the Caps take it back, and the feed to the goal mouth, and Ryan Walter is thwarted as he was camped right on the corner of the crease. This is McLeish, one man back, and it's not a defenseman, it's a forward, Gartner, and McLeish goes right around him and is pushed off the puck on a good comeback effort by Gustafsson, because he had gotten past Gardner. Gustafsson is the guy who stopped him. Here comes Aidbear on the left wing. Aidbear into the attack zone as he gets off behind the Philadelphia net. Aidbear moving now to the near side as he feeds it to Gartner at the right point. He fakes a shot, feeds it back to Aidbear. He feeds, and it goes right through the slot. Neither Ryan Walter, camped out in front, or a few feet over, Robert Picard could get the stick on it. 1:45 remaining in the period, 1:14 remaining on the penalty as the puck is being carried out by Mike Gartner. Gartner lifting it to the blue line, and as it gets across and is picked up by Marouk, offside is called against the Capitals.
And it looks like a flyer down, running into Mel Bridgman that time, both of them going in the opposite direction. It would appear that the right shoulder, is that Moose Dupont down? Yeah, yep. Moose Dupont, his right shoulder seems, or right top of his right arm seems to be injured. Let's see if Moose can shake it off. The accident occurred when Mel Bridgman, trying to back check. Let's check this now. Here's the shot on the Flyers. This is McLeish coming around. He is taken down as he gets past Gartner. There's a man going to be coming up on the right. That's Bengt Gustafsson, as Jim called it, who takes him down, preventing the shot. I thought for a moment it might have been a penalty on that one, but no, it was a clean check on the part of Gustafsson's part.
Interesting thing about that particular play was that the two men back to try to stop McLeish were not defensemen, but both forwards. Bear in mind, the Caps are on the power play, and they only have one nominal defenseman on the ice, and that is Robert Picard, and he had been up ice trying to set up that power play. Dennis Marouk fails to pass it cleanly, and it's taken away by Bridgman. 52 seconds remaining on the penalty as Robert Picard needs help back there, and Sirois obliges. His left wing pass, however, overleads Lofthouse, but Lofthouse races in as he sees Ben Wilson mishandle the puck. Wilson breaks away with good strength evident there from Lofthouse, who himself is very strong, and against the near boards in Capital Zone, Gartner has it with the clock showing now just a half minute remaining on the penalty. Gartner to Sirois, who gives ground. 1 minute remaining in the period. 2-0 Philadelphia in the lead as Sirois bides his time behind the Capital net, surveying the situation before bringing it out. Here he comes, 50 seconds left in the period. Sirois wristing it in. Muir leaving it back there. First man back is Jack McElhargy, and the Caps try to keep it in. A sprawling move on the part of Lofthouse keeps it in for the time being at least. But against the near boards, it comes out and back in, and offside is the call.
Bobby Sirois knocking it down at the blue line, but just the other side of the blue line to create the offside. 8 seconds left in the Capitals' power play, 39 seconds left in the first period, and the Flyers are leading by a score of 2-0 in a rather close game. I think the game is a little closer, despite the fact the Flyers are out shooting the Capitals at this point, 12-6. It's a little closer game than the scoreboard indicates. That both teams are playing defensive hockey rather than offensive hockey. The Capitals being careful. To my way of thinking, they should be a lot more offensive-minded, and the chances are they will in the second period, because you can't play the Flyers at their own game and beat them. Too many clubs have tried it and haven't been able to do it.
Curiously, with only 8 seconds left on the power play, the Capitals have had some good opportunities on this power play, but none of their shots has been registered as a shot on goal. They've been close through the crease area and so on, but nothing on goal, and the penalty has been killed. With less than a half minute remaining in the period, the Caps come out. Gustafsson just simply lets it go to Ryan Walter. Walter drops it, dumps it in, but that one didn't work because the fellow linesmen, not anticipating that move, were in ahead of the puck for an offside.
Gustafsson, I think, didn't expect the pass back as quickly and did step off on the right wing side. I didn't see the left wing.
Well, I think Mulvey was also in. Yes,
offside?
He was.
I didn't catch him. I was watching the right side of the play. And you're looking at Big Paul, of course, who is the monster man on this line, if you can call it that. He's the guy that directs traffic for Ryan Walter and Bengt Gustafsson in this particular line.
Well, as a rule, the right winger on this line is Gartner, but he is sitting this one out, perhaps because he worked so hard on the power play as he was playing the point. Or we'll see. You know, he's also had some trouble with his foot, having stopped a shot on that foot a few games back, and he's playing hurt, as are several of these players on both teams.
Paul McKinnon and Paul Holmgren, the two Pauls getting together on the Capitals' right wing boards, left wing boards, I should say. And, of course, it creates a face-off with 8 seconds left in the period in the Capitals' end.
Jack Doniger, who is with me, and yours truly, Jim West. Jack will be talking with Guy Chiron during the upcoming intermission just 8 seconds from now as the face-off is contested in the circle to the right of Stevenson, and the Caps come up with it as McKinnon feeds it to Paul Mulvey. And before he can do anything with it, the period comes to an end. So after one period of play, the Flyers lead it by a score of 2-0. We'll be back with that intermission guest in just a moment. be at best a minor league defenseman. Rather than that, he got into the coaching and teaching end, and certainly he's not unhappy about that, and the fans here in Washington are mighty pleased to have him on their side. But right now, the Flyers are in the lead by 2-0 as we're into action in the second period, as Green is having a whale of a time trying to hang onto that puck behind his own net, as a couple of Flyers are all over him, and Philadelphia takes over. And here's that little buzz bomb. Linsman is that's out at the goal mouth and finally picked up by the Washington Caps. As trying to weave his way out of there, Adeberry gets help from the defense, and it's ahead to Robert Picard. Left wing pass. Hangsleben tries to flag it down, is unable to pull it off, but gets back there to cover, and they've washed out icing. Good hustle on the part of Hangsleben. That pass misfires. 3-on-2 coming against Washington as Philadelphia moves in. Brian Propp on the near side throws a pass over to the far side. Linsman tries to dig it out. He's neutralized by Robert Picard. As the puck squirts out, it is taken by Bengta Gustafsson, and the Swede, taking refuge behind the net, tries to drop it off and does so for Robert Picard, taking the return pass on the far boards. Gustafsson is wrapped up back there. He tries to skate away from Holmgren. As he does, he banks it against the near boards, and it's picked off at neutral ice by the Philadelphia Flyers' Buzniuk. Buzniuk taking the return pass near side. We're a minute into the second period as Leach throws a blind pass on the left wing, looking for Bridgman across the way. He takes a hit as he's tied up by the Capitals, and here come the Caps. Right to left as Hangsleben crosses center and drives a rising shot off the glass, stays in play as it goes across the top of the dasher board, and behind the net the Caps pick it up, centered as once again it is Gartner trying to get an offensive thrust going, but nothing doing. And here's a pass picked off by Gartner, who's a good two-way hockey player. Gartner moving in, jamming on the brakes on the far side, flipping it to the left point. Contained there by Bouchard. Bats it ahead. And Ryan Walter gets a weak shot away that is stopped and held to the ice by Phil Meir.
Big Paul Mulvey standing right there in the crease looking for a deflection on that shot, but they really couldn't control the puck. 2-0. Flyers leading early in the second period. We'll be back after this.
Back to the live action as the action unfolds to the right of the Philadelphia goal. Meir barking directions, pointing where he wants that puck to be. The Caps have other ideas, but Philadelphia's persistent Bridgman picks it up and throws it into the far corner. Flyers working on a good system as they get out, and Leach lugs the puck up. He and Barber and Bridgman coming in together, an offside pass. Bridgman ahead of the puck into the attack zone.
You made a very valid point that time, Jim. The Flyers know how to get that puck out of their own end. The Capitals are struggling in this particular hockey game simply because the Flyers are using two men to forecheck. When this happens, technically, it's supposed to work this way. A defenseman is to carry the puck up to the blue line and carry it out rather than pass the puck, because then there's a Flyer there, obviously, to intercept the pass. And the Capitals have been struggling to do that, while the Flyers take it out to the circle area before they make their passes.
Well, this time, Antero Lehtinen emerges with a puck, and he shoots, and the save is made. The rebound right on, and struggling. That puck is Meir, and he finally clamps it to the ice. But Lehtinen had him reeling because both of those deep angle shots were right on target.
And the Flyer defensemen were nowhere around that time, nor were the Flyer wings covering it. You'll watch little Denny Marouk as we watch the replay. There's the first shot from Lehtinen. The rebound comes right back out to the circle. Lettinen's going to pick it up and fire again. But again, Meir had the angle cut down. Now watch little Denny Marouk come in, take a little bit of a swipe as the puck is still loose.
And thanks to the cameraman for that alert coverage of that follow-up. He stayed with it every inch of the way. The face-off will be to the right of the Philadelphia goal. 17:42 remaining second period. Philadelphia leading 2-0. They have outshot the Caps now 12-9. Which means that the Capitals have had 3 shots on goal in this period to none thus far for the Flyers. There's a study of Robert Picard.
And that's
Lehtinen. That's Lehtinen.
Right. Yeah, that's Lehtinen on the left wing in this particular
line. I knew it was a good-looking guy. Dennis Marouk facing off against McLeish. Some of the Flyer fans are now beginning to get a little chant going, and there are 4,000 or 5,000 of those here in this crowd of 18,000 this evening at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland. Green with the puck over to Robert Picard, and he tries a pass, and it's picked off. Robert Picard, an errant pass, and that could cost as the Flyers are on the move once again. Stevenson was out of position for a moment, but was able to right himself once again between the pipes as the Flyers are on the move once more, continuing to press. Philadelphia pressing, and off behind the goal they continue to set it up as Al Hill has it. He has one of the 2 Philadelphia goals. There's a backhander behind the net. That time it was John Paddock who let it fly, and out in front finally Lehtinen gets a handle on it for the Washington Caps as he comes up with Bob Sirois 2-on-3. Sirois and Lehtinen come back in, and there's a shot that runs into traffic before it gets through to the goal, and Philadelphia again moves it out of its own zone, but an errant pass against the far side results in the Caps taking over. This time Picard gets away with a pass that could have been trouble had it been intercepted across ice pass. The Capitals changing lines on the fly as Philadelphia tries to take advantage of that change. Pierre Bouchard, fresh to the ice with his defensive partner McKinnon looking on, covers as icing is called.
Legitimate icing call that time. The puck was deflected away. All right, 2-0 Flyers, 16:31 left in the second period, and we'll be back after this. Here looking at Bengt Gustafsson. If this kid, if you've never seen him before, were allowed to do his thing, you'd see a lot of deking and faking out of boots. But, of course, that's the Swedish style, and they're playing Philadelphia style tonight.
Well, they ask him to take the face-off, and between he and Edberg, they do manage to keep it in Philadelphia's zone, only to have to reface. And incidentally, Philadelphia's got a line now of Gorance and Kelly and Bridgman. We've seen this combination very seldom out there tonight.
Gorance getting the light ice time. Of course, Kelly hasn't played that much in this hockey game so far either, skipping a shift here and there. But, of course, Bridgman is one of the kingpins, one of the center kingpins of the Philadelphia Flyers.
And the Flyers win the face-off, and here comes Gorance passing to Kelly as they come in 2-on-2, both moving in on the left side and neutralized by one man back there as McKinnon is able to tie them both up. The Capitals trying to come out with that puck as the bouncing puck was very nearly left behind by Edberg, but on a second effort he's got it ahead to Gustafsson. Gustafsson coming in tandem with Hangsleben, and finally Muir gets rid of it, but not before the whistle had blown as he had stopped it in front of the crease.
And there we almost saw Bengt. Of course, he had two big Philadelphia defensemen, but you almost saw him break away and do that little deke job. The puck did get through, but of course Bengt didn't. He was stood up on the play by the Flyers' Mike Buzniak, number 28 of the Flyers, who just stood him straight up. There's Bengt sitting down on the Capitals bench, and there's Gary Green. No mistake this time. He's got the striped tie.
Face-off coming to the right of Phil Muir as Walter is back on, and he's reunited with his right winger this time as back for his regular spot on the shift is Mike Gartner, while on the left side is Mulvey as they face off against that Rat Pack line centered by Linsman once more as Linsman works with Holmgren and Brian Propp. Mulvey races to the corner. Defenseman number 3, Ben Wilson, sends it out of there, and as it goes down into Capital zone, Gartner goes back to retrieve, being forechecked as he goes by Linsman. Those are a couple of real hustling hockey players. Against the far boards, it is poked ahead by Ryan Walter, but mishandled and sent back in as Brian Propp puts the stick to it. Back out to center, and again it's taken away as Linsman moves on once more. He's a buzz bomb. Linsman throws it to the slot, and is finally taken out of there by Robert Picard. There was a tense moment there, wondering whether he would really get the handle on it. Down goes Gartner. Here comes the penalty, as Philadelphia Flyers will have a man on the penalty box.
Looks like big Jack McElhargy who's going to be called. There it is. And we'll be back to tell you about it after this.
29, Jack McElhargy, 2 minutes for tripping. Time of the penalty is 4:42.
On this power play with Paul Mulvey on left wing, Picard at the left point, and Gartner, the man who was tripped, back at the right point.
This is the power play setup. Everybody's looking at the scoreboard, so I will too, Jim. This is the power play lineup that the Capitals have been using regularly now for at least the last dozen games, with Mike Gartner on the right point.
McLeish Sean does a lot of penalty killing. Left point, Robert Picard. Right point, Gartner over to the far side. Return pass from Ryan Walter. Shot. Save. Muir